shocker, I remembered the password to my YouTube channel. These are not resolutions, I don't believe in them. I start making the changes when I realize that there are changes that I want to make. There is no perfect timing, there is only now. Hey, what's up with the dog doing? It's your favorite Asian anime vampire Nicholas, aka Sentient Poison. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, hey, what's up? These are the things that I started doing in 2025 that I want to carry over to the new year, 2026. Good grief, time flies, 2016 was 10 years ago. Anyway, let's begin. I'm staying single for as long as I possibly can. Look, I've spent enough time putting enough effort, energy, and put in a lot of stock in pursuing love and romance, and clearly, by the fact that I am still single, again, so far, that hasn't worked out. So, I'm taking this as a sign to slow down, take a step back, do something different. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And at this point, I've put in so much time and effort and energy into love and dating for the majority of my life so far that I think it's time to do something different for a while. Reallocate the resources that I've poured into pursuing somebody else. The time, the money, the energy, my mental headspace, the emotional investment, my entire being, literally. Right now I'm given the freedom and the opportunity to distribute all those resources into other areas that already exist in my life, including myself. I don't need to look for somebody else to pour all that into or to occupy that space that I have. Not right now. I look forward to meeting the woman who is meant for me, but she's not here yet. If I'm being given this time in my life to be on my own and this is the season that I'm in, then I'm not protesting. I want to stay single until I'm given a really good reason not to be. Until I meet a woman who is a really good reason not to be. Next up, trying and being curious. One of the biggest lies that we're told nowadays is that it's cringe to try. You should just be good at everything already. You should have made it at this point in your life. There's that implied judgment, you know, that energy where you're expected to be ashamed of the fact that you even have big dreams to begin with, or that you're daring to take a big swing and potentially miss or not get the results that you're looking for a while. It's as ridiculous as the thought of people laughing at the heavyset person that decided to show up at the gym, or making fun of somebody who's just a beginner musician for not being an expert, or calling somebody cringe for posting online just because they don't have the numbers yet. Why do you think they're there? Why do you think they're trying? They might not be where they want to be yet, but guess what? They showed up. They're there putting in the work and believing in what they want to pursue. They had a vision, and they're not just daydreaming about it and just wish listing the things that they hope to happen. They are there showing up, putting in the work. Let's be willing to look a little cringe and be judged by people just for trying and believing in what we actually want. Let's embrace curiosity and actually be willing to give things a proper shot at the risk of embarrassment, with enough humility to know that we will be wrong at some points, and that failure and embarrassment can come at any time, at any moment, and still have enough resolve to press on. Sic parvis magna. Great things from small beginnings. We often forget that the people that we admire all had to start somewhere. The biggest trees started with the smallest of seeds. It's better to have tried and failed than to have done nothing at all at the fear of embarrassment. So don't believe the lie. It's not cringe to try. Another thing I've been doing a lot more often is just staying home. You'd be surprised how much you can get done by just staying home more often. I've been cutting back on going out to socialize, drink, party, eat, date, shop, basically anything that's a cross between going out and spending a lot of money to consuming a good amount of food and drink that my body doesn't actually need, and things that just take up too many hours of the free time that I actually do get to have. I'm not a total recluse, don't get it twisted. It's just that I've just become a lot pickier and a lot more discerning. A good time with good friends, a cool place or a cool event, the travel, the time, the money, the resources that you spend into doing all those things that are recreational for you could be really worthwhile sometimes. But I'm also at a stage in my life where the thing that I want the most is to pursue my dreams the most seriously that I ever have in my life and pour so much into it. With that, I need as much time, energy, focus, and resources to reserve, and for a majority of that, my hub is my home to film the videos, to take the self-portraits, to edit the photos and the videos, to write, to sketch, to play music, to do my workouts. They're all best done here. Plus, it really does save a lot of time and money to just not eat or drink out as much as I used to, and the stuff I have here at home is healthier anyway. I know that not all of us have the same time or resources or life circumstances, but if any of what I've said has resonated with you, then maybe it's time to reconsider going out tonight, because sometimes the better choice is to just stay home. Another big thing that I've been doing is taking better care of my body. I know, I get accused for being a vampire, but I am not taking my youth for granted, nor am I abusing it. Not anymore. So I'm making more deliberate effort to take better care of the one body that I'm given. To physical activity, to watching my diet, to what I'm doing, and most especially what I'm not doing. The whole point is to be more diligent without driving myself insane. I've created a relatively simple enough workout routine for me here at home, a reminders checklist that refreshes every 1 a.m. every day. I've just made it simple enough that it gets me moving, it gets me using my body, but it's not so strict that it makes me afraid to even begin. And then instead of going to bars or shopping, I instead use the exact same mileage that it would have taken me to just go to a climbing gym and boulder and use the gym and use the treadmill and actually get back into running to some degree. The movement definitely helps, especially since I've been having a lot of back pain. I realized that it wasn't because I was tired, it was because I didn't get enough movement. I'm not seeing enough movement. And all of this is just to keep up with my personal fitness. It's not even the aesthetics that I'm pursuing, I just want that strength back. I want to have that capacity for cardio. I want to have that muscle coordination to be able to climb those boulders. I want to know that I have that strength, regardless of whether I need it or not. I just want to make sure that I'm taking care and making good use of the body that I'm given. Now, in terms of my diet, I'm really not that strict. I just watch what I eat and how much. That's it. Because the biggest thing that I hate is just being bloated. That's my biggest thing. It just beats the point of eating for me because it makes me feel worse and heavier and more tired than I did before I even started to eat anything. So I just make sure that I eat the amount that I need when I actually need it so that I get energized, because that's the functional point of eating, and then I stop at that right amount before it tips over to just me feeling too full, too bloated, to the point where I just feel tired and I want to sleep after eating, which is not a good idea to do. That's about it, really. I don't go crazy over diets. I don't want to go crazy over diets, more importantly. I still eat what I want, but I eat the amount that I need, and I only eat when I need to. Overall, I guess you could say I'm just taking an intentional but still chill approach to my fitness. I don't need to be super jacked. I don't want to be. I love my outfits and my look too much to outgrow them. I don't want to buy a new set of clothes or anything like that. But I just want to gain that strength back and know that I have it and feel it in my body when I wake up and when I move, that, oh, yeah, I'm physically capable and I'm physically relatively healthy. Now, of course, it doesn't hurt to have like an aesthetic physique, but I'm considering that less of a goal and more of a plus. I think it's healthier that I do that. Now, to add to that, I've also been taking better care of my skin. I've been super meticulous, not just about washing my face or the products that I put on it, but also just in terms of cleanliness in general. Clean surfaces, bed sheets, blankets, everything. Even if a blanket falls on the ground for a second or a pillowcase falls on the ground for even just 1 second, that's an immediate send to the wash. I am not taking my chances. Same way, if my face grazes or touches or interacts with anything that might possibly irritate it or cause a negative reaction, I am washing this thing as soon as I get the chance. My skin is just that sensitive and it heals too slowly from any sort of damage that I'm just not taking any chances anymore. Also, I think this goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Just drink tons of water too. Just hydrate, man. You're probably a lot more dehydrated than you think. On the topic of going out less, saving more money, and taking better care of my body and my skin, I'm also drinking less. I know, shocker, but here we are. What I'm not doing is just as important as the things that I am. So, I've been drinking less, and this started a few months ago back in 2025. For a while, and I mean for a good few years, I didn't really care about what I was drinking because my tolerance is so high that it didn't really matter. As long as it was a drink that I enjoyed, or it tasted good, or even if it tasted halfway decent, fine, whatever. I don't care what's in it, I don't care what spirit it uses. We're good. Party on. Whatever, let's have fun. But nowadays, I just don't see the appeal as much. Just drinking in general. Call me Unk for that, I guess. Seriously though, over time, you really notice how it takes a toll on you. Your energy, your focus, your mood. I'm also aware of how drinking can age you, and some spirits I just noticed that my skin does not respond well to. Going out for drinks also took a lot of my time and my energy from focusing on the things that I wanted to do, so any productive thing that I was aiming to do before or after usually took a hit. With all that combined, plus how much money it just costs to go out frequently, I just saw the appeal less and less, so I've cut back on all of it. I've had my fun, I've felt youthful for the past few years. I could make better use of my time, money, and energy now elsewhere. So I go out to bars less, and whenever I do end up in one, I just drink way less than I used to. Not only have I cut down on the amount, I've also cut down on the frequency. I figured this would be a good compromise. It's not a hard cut, but I am cutting down. I've played the young man's game long enough. I think it's time for me to just pull back. And so far, I haven't really felt like I've missed out. I actually think my lifestyle's improved because it just feels more balanced and intentional. And I think with all these items that I've mentioned, that's what's really mattered the most, is that whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm consuming, whenever I'm doing it, whenever I'm consuming it, I am intentional about what, when, why, and how much. Next up is something that I think we can all use. Say what's on your mind. I've been saying what's on my mind more, I've been filtering myself less, and I've been taking a lot more social risks. You'd be surprised what people find funny and interesting. You have no idea sometimes. What you're holding back could be the key to a deeper connection with somebody, or to begin a connection at all. That compliment that you're not saying, that intrusive thought that you're not expressing, that joke that you're not cracking, it might be what is needed for you to have a better conversation, a deeper connection with the person in front of you. That thing that just entered your mind in a split second, like a commercial break in the middle of the conversation, that you're worried might derail it, or might ruin the momentum, might be exactly the kind of zip and spice that conversation is looking for. Because that's the thing, we're taught to follow conversational rules, or at least I was. The truth is, you don't always need to follow those conventions, and sometimes that straightforward exchange A, exchange B type conversation is just not as interesting as one that goes all over the place. It just depends on your audience, but you're not gonna know if you don't actually take the risk and if you don't actually say what's on your mind. You really never know. You might be scared that you could get in trouble, or that the person that you're talking to might not appreciate it, or that you might get rejected. And all those things could as well be true, but within reason, those are the things that are in your mind, in your heart, those are parts of you. They are what you want to say. If you think what you have to say is important, if you think what you have to say can actually drive the conversation forward, then just say what's on your mind. With that, I've also been working on being more open. This comes twofold. On the one hand, I've just had my walls so high up, and all of them are this thick. Not even a single Titan can make it through. The other is that I've just been surrounded by people, and I've been in the wrong scenes where people are just fixated about status, net worth, connections, networking, who can I use, how can I use them, and that's just not the kind of person that I am. That's just not what I want or care about in terms of a sense of community, or in terms of the people that I want to surround myself with, or the culture that I want to be in. But for a long time, I was halfway consumed by that, and it changed me in ways that I didn't like. Ever since I've been working my way back to just being more authentic and seeing people for people, interacting with people as people, and not having so much pride in my own image and my own achievements, and not looking at them for their image and their achievements. I just want to be a person that exists, and I want to exist in the same room as this other person and see them as a person. Not a number, not a role. I just don't want people that are like that, and I don't want to be that person either. I'm just tired of being surrounded by energy that makes it feel like everybody's just trying to look for the next opportunity, the next person to bite off of, the next thing to take advantage of. And I don't want to come across as that person either. Just because one thing is labeled by society as more prestigious or more useful or more important doesn't mean that I should equate that to the way that I see that person. It doesn't matter, at least it shouldn't, not for me. If it matters to them that, oh, I love my role, I love what I'm doing, I think it's important, this is a part of who I am, then I want to see it as that. I don't want to see it as how it's labeled or the connotations behind it. And it's so easy to make that mistake when you're surrounded by people that just do that, and it's easy to forget that that's not how it really should be, or at least that's not how I want to live my life. Reconnecting with myself and with my roots has really centered me back around to remembering that it's the people that I care about. It's the connections and actually getting to know somebody. It's that kind of connection, not the networking, let's link up bro kind of connection. Because those, as useful as they are, they just end up making you feel lonely, even if they take you far. And on the other hand, with me being closed off and putting up my walls, I've just made myself a fortress of solitude, and not in the best way, not in the Superman way. I've made a literal fortress for myself that is impenetrable, that isolates me in solitude. And I'm just about ready to not do that anymore. Keep the structure, but choose to actually let some people in every now and then, you know? I think there's been a severe lack in genuine and deep human connection because people have been so caught up nowadays on social rules and the laws of power and trying to game human connection. There's been such an emphasis on curating an image for yourself and presenting a certain way and being perceived like this and that, to the point where I think a lot of us have just forgotten how to be human and to see others as human as well. And I'm done with all of that. I don't want any more of it. I'm out. On the note of both friendship and dating, the next thing is this: chase less. No need to prove myself to anyone who doesn't see my worth or can't or won't. Doesn't matter. I used to want to win them over, but now I just don't see the point. If they want to miss out on me or what I have to give or who I am, then that's their choice. So be it. I'll let them. It's not my fault that they don't see my worth or what I have to offer, or they don't care for it, and honestly, it might not even be theirs. It's just the fact that we're two different people and we pay attention to different things and we value different things. And that's just what makes us human. That's what makes us unique, is that we're different. And sometimes two people just don't click. Those differences make us as interesting as we could be, but that also means that we're not for each other and we're not for everybody. And you don't have to convince them otherwise. You don't need to put in the gargantuan amount of effort to take on the task of trying to win somebody over that doesn't even really want to be won over. Don't force yourself into fitting into somebody else's life if they're not willing to hold space for you to be in it. No hard feelings either. It's just the way that it is. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't put in effort or show intent or interest. You should if you are interested. But once you've laid those cards out, once you've shown that to the person and you just feel that you're blown off or you're taken for granted, or they're just being polite but they don't actually care, I've just learned to take the hint and let it go. All good with me, at least personally. No hard feelings. Like, if you want to connect again, cool. But, for example, if I do the reaching out and I just feel ignored or that they don't care, then I'm just gonna cut my losses and quit there, because we don't have to be doing this. I'll take the hint and I'll gracefully exit, because I think that's the best thing that I can do. By accepting that it ain't it, it's all good, and you're actually providing both of you some peace of mind. You don't need to chase. Now, one thing I've been working on in terms of trying to make better connections and making them more meaningful is listening more. Ask questions and give that opportunity and space for others to take so that they can let their life and their light shine. Believe you me, I have forgotten what it's like to see that light in someone's eyes when they talk about something they actually care about. And sometimes there really isn't anything more beautiful than that. Making good connections and understanding somebody could be as simple as just actively and intently listening and asking follow-up questions because you're actually genuinely taking interest. Allow yourself the privilege of seeing the beauty of a person being so real and passionate about something they deeply care about. Now here's a big one. Second to the last thing. I want to keep getting rejected more. I want more rejections. Might sound insane, might sound a little psychotic, but I used to just have such a high tolerance for rejection that I would just say things, do things, ask for things, and it didn't really matter if I got the yes or the no. It'd be great if I got the yes, but I didn't really care because all that mattered to me was that I put it out there, that I did the thing, that I showed up, and I missed that, and I want that back. I used to just take chances left and right, regardless of what it was, whether it was with friendships, or if I was into this one girl and I found her cute, or I wanted to talk to this person because they seemed interesting, or there was an opportunity that I wanted to pursue. I just kept throwing things out there and taking the risk because it's worth it. Why not? I was so used to rejection that it didn't matter to me that I would be rejected. It mattered to me the few times that those risks actually worked out. I had such a stomach for that rejection where it's like, oh yeah, cool, alright, on to the next one. And I just bounced back from all the times that I was just bonked down. I was chilling, you know? And I miss that about myself because at some point in life, I ended up taking so many risks and I ended up winning so consistently that I became afraid of losing even just once. And then it didn't help that I was also surrounded by people that were afraid of the same thing, that were afraid of trying and failing, and that were afraid of rejection, and that was so obsessed with maintaining appearances that I got caught up in it too. It was such a whirlwind, and I've had to crawl my way back to finding myself, first of all, and now secondly, just taking more risks and being more willing to get rejected again and again. There's just so much comfort, security, and confidence that comes in the fact that you can enter a room or enter a conversation and just be okay with the threat, with the thought that it might not work out, that people might not like you, that they might flat out reject you or ignore you, and just be able to just brush it off and go, yeah, okay, on to the next one. Who's the next person I can talk to? And instead of viewing rejection as failure, just viewing it as redirection. Okay, that friendship that I tried to pursue was not for me. That girl that I tried to go for, not for me. What's next? And just take that as an invitation to be excited about something that isn't there yet, because you're told that that thing you thought you wanted, hey, guess what? That actually doesn't belong to you. That's not for you. There's something better suited for you. You just don't know it yet. And that's the way that I've been choosing to view rejection instead. It's an opportunity for me to grow, to search for something different, to search for something better, something more suited for me. I have taken it as a sign I'm being protected from something, that I'm being taken away from something because I belong somewhere else better for me. That doesn't mean that the person that rejected me was bad or the thing that I was turned down from would have been terrible. It's just that I wasn't the best fit, they weren't the best fit, we weren't the best fit, so it's better off that we don't force it, that we accept that loss because there is something else to gain. It's just not immediately there yet. At least that's how I've seen it. It might sound like copium to some, but it is something that has brought me a lot of comfort and security in the face of rejection. And I want more of that. It's such a high, honestly, trying to pursue it, you know, trying to compliment a stranger or start a conversation with them, and sometimes it goes swimmingly well, and then you exchange numbers, and then you become friends, and the other times it just really doesn't. But either way, I get such a high from it working out, and also not working out, that I just want more of it. I just want to face it with the anticipation of rejection, because at that point, I got nothing to lose and everything to gain. With that said, the biggest thing that I've been focusing on is that I just want to be looser. I want to be more free. I just don't want to be as rigid as I have been as of the past few years anymore. You look at me and there's like a certain aesthetic, there's a certain vibe, there's a certain image and a brand to me as a person Was it fully intentional? Not really. I just kind of like what I like. But I ended up trapping myself here because a lot of people associated me with certain things. I've been so aware that I have this certain image, this certain brand, and they have this idea of me, of Nicholas. This is Nicholas Core, and I've been labeled the Dark Prince a lot by a lot of people. And once you become aware of that, at least once I became aware of it, you kind of end up embracing the bit. You know, once you become aware of it, it's kind of hard to ignore. I got caught up in a trap of my own making, I guess, to the point where I would think consciously, oh, this thing that I like, or this thing that I'm thinking of doing or saying is out of character for how people perceive me. I know that this is a part of me, but I'm gonna hold it back because it might throw others off, or it might be too out there for everybody else outside of myself. And it's like, that is not a way to live. Because originally these were things that you liked, these were just things that were genuinely you, but now there's almost this performative part of this is what's expected of me, and I shouldn't break out of these confines now that this is who I am and who I should be. And it's a prison of your own making because you make yourself so distinct that there ends up being a specific U-shaped box that only really encompasses such a limited amount of who you are. There are things that I like that are outside of how I appear as a character, or how I sound, or how I present, and I'm well aware of that. And when you become aware of that, it becomes almost this like reverse self-conscious thing, because you're not insecure about it, but at the same time you know that it's not what people expect of you, and it becomes this weird thing where these things that you know are parts of you that are actually in character with who you are feel out of character with a perception of who you are from others that you are also aware of. It's such a trip mentally. It has been, and I've worked my way to break away from that and just not care, because who I am is who I am. In that moment, who I feel to be is who I am. What I like is what I like, and I should just show up like that, as that, because that's me. And that's where I found freedom, no longer isolating myself to a certain image, to a certain character. If I want to dress completely differently from how people are used to, guess what? Deal with it. That's how I'm appearing that day. If I want to play around and look like the Joker without the clown makeup, then yeah, you'll see me in a purple blazer and like a green vest. Deal with it. I'm having fun, I'm having a ball, I'm being silly, because being silly is something that I like to do sometimes. And then there'll be other times where I'll feel like I want to be serious, in which case then I will be. I'll show up as who I am, because that's who I am, instead of showing up as who I'm expected to be, because again, it's not a way to live, and it is such a prison. It's almost like a collaborative prison between you and the people that expect you to be a certain way. Be free. Come as you are. Whoever I'm feeling like being that day, that's who I'm gonna be, and I'd rather that than a fake, curated persona of just one limited facet of the full being that I actually am. I'd rather allow myself to be free, and if people find it off-putting or weird or too much, then cool. You're not my audience, I am not for you. But I know, because I've lived my life, that there are people that I am for. I know that there are people that love me, that like me, that enjoy my presence in my company, that enjoy how eccentric and odd I am and appreciate me precisely for those reasons. I'd rather be with them. I'd rather find them. I'd rather stand out the ways that I do than muffle myself and box myself in just for more people to like me. Because if I do that and more people like me for just somebody that I'm not, or at least not my full self, I know that in the back of my mind, and I know that I'm lying to them, I'm lying to myself. Now it just breeds more insecurity because it makes you think, oh, I have to be this limited, fake, curated version of myself just for people to like me, when that's not the truth, but that's how you feel because that's what you're doing to yourself. That's what I did to myself. I'd rather be odd, be forthcoming about it, and see if people like it, and if they do, welcome to the club. You get to stick around. Hopefully you do. And if not, no hard feelings. Sayonara. So I'm just gonna do that. That has given me so much mental peace, I kid you not, and this unbridled security and confidence to just enter a room and trust that I can chill I can be cool and I can have a good time and find people in that room to have a good time with. I have that confidence because I know that there are a lot more people, the people that should actually matter in my life, that are going to love me, what I am, and how odd I can really be, and me being completely free. And the reason why I have that confidence that those people exist is because they do. I have them in my life. Being me is fluid, it's nebulous, it's flexible, and that's how it should be. That's what being free is like. And I love that. All of these things that I'm doing are just my ways to enrich how I love my life, and the people in it, and the things in it, and myself as I live it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a couple things that you can take away from it. Do you have any New Year's resolutions? Do you believe in that, or are you just like me and you make changes as you go? Regardless, leave a comment down below if you feel like it, leave a like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Sentient Poison. Once again, this is Nicholas, thanks for watching. I hope you're having a good New Year so far. Cheers.